Rested its case against Steve Nodine.
Nodine is accused of killing his longtime girlfriend, Angel Downs.
Downs' body was found in her driveway of her home in Gulf Shores.
And so today, neighbors testified about what they saw and heard the night she was shot.
Fox 10 News reporter April Douglas has been in the courtroom for the whole trial and joins us now live with the latest. April?
Well, Bob and Lenise, the state did rest its case today against Steve Nodine, but not before several of Angel Downs' neighbors testified they heard a gunshot the night she died. Neighbors who testified they spotted Steve Nodine speeding down their street. One neighbor even testified that she motioned for him to slow down. Neighbor after neighbor testified what they saw and heard the night Angel Downs was found with a gunshot wound to her head. Nancy Hill said she was inside her apartment when she heard what sounded like a gunshot, followed by a knock at her door. Hill said another neighbor thought they should check on Angel Downs. Hill said they discovered Downs in her driveway. In court, Hill testified, "I started talking to her. She was breathing. I could see her stomach going up and down. I could hear her every few seconds sigh, so I started talking to her." Charla Canali said she was walking her dog when I heard the gunshot and saw her boyfriend leave. Canali and other neighbors testified they saw Steve Nodine speeding away in his county-issued red Ford pickup truck shortly after the gunshot went off. But Roger Whitehead told police it was like the gunshot and he was pulling off. Whitehead's description of what happened was caught on tape by a body cam worn by a Gulf Shores police officer. All of the neighbors testified they did not touch Angel Downs' body. Now, today was the first day of testimony where we heard from the neighbors, those that were with Angel Downs. Two of the neighbors testified that they knelt down beside her as she died, but they said they did not get any blood on themselves, and all the neighbors said they did not touch her body. Of course, the defense did start its case today. It called Patrick Goff, its first witness from the Alabama Department of Forensic Science, who testified that tests were done and no female blood was found on Nodine's clothes or in that red Ford county-issued pickup truck. Of course, this is a story generating lots of comments on the web, and a question that we posed tonight. A lot of the people, Chastity Bird was in the courtroom with me today, and we heard from these neighbors who saw Angel Downs, those last moments of her life, neighbors who heard a gunshot and thought to go check on her, and so this is something that you've posed to our viewers.
That's right, April. One of the neighbors, and you heard as well, also testified he was sitting with his family having dinner when he heard the gunshot go off, and he went outside to check things out. We also heard from several of the other neighbors that said they went to check things out as well after they heard the gunshot. So the question we posted to you tonight on Facebook, how do you think you'd respond if you heard a gunshot go off? Would you go outside? Would you check things out? We want to hear from you on that. That's the question of the day today on Facebook. So go. We're going to read some of those comments coming up at 5:30. Now, last night we also posted a question, and here's the question from last night. We asked you about the use of cell phone information in cases like this. We heard a lot of testimony yesterday from an engineer with AT&T Mobility about using information from cell phone towers. Here's some of the comments that we got last night on Facebook. Deborah Roberts writes, "I could see where that could be beneficial, but also a big invasion of privacy." Another comment said it's evidence, the same as forensics or ballistics in a criminal case. Could also be used to help clear someone's name who is innocent. It cuts both ways. So we're going to continue to have these questions of the day as long as this trial continues to go on. Of course, let us hear from you. We'll read some of those comments coming up at 5:30. April and I are continuing to give you updates on fox10tv.com as well as Twitter and Facebook on this trial. If you're just joining us, the prosecution has rested its case in the Steve Nodine trial, and now the defense is starting to call witnesses, and this testimony will continue for the next day or so. You're going to hear more about what happened in the case today in testimony coming up a little bit later at 5:30, as well as some of those Facebook comments, so make sure you stay tuned. Reporting live in Bay Minette, Chastity Bird, Fox 10 News.
Thanks, Chastity. And